The Hills of Tanchico. The Hills of Tanchico. Hey! Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Nick here with Shelf-Esteem. I'm a composer, now also a booktuber. You can find my music in the Wheel of Time Season 2, His Dark Materials Season 3, and the newly released The Hills of Tanchico in Wheel of Time Season 3. So, monumental week after monumental week, it seems, because it's the gift that keeps on giving. A lot of things have happened on the channel, and also in my personal life, in my music life, in my reading life in the last week. So I figured, let's do another weekly reading roundup. If you like this kind of video, please like and subscribe. And now onto the books. So I didn't get very far in my reading goals this week, unfortunately, or fortunately, if you look at it this way, I got a chance to spend some quality time with my dad. And not just anywhere, we got a chance to travel to San Diego for the week. And we spent a few days in kind of traveling around San Diego, going to the beaches, going on walks, having nice meals out, and just relaxing, honestly, which was a really nice reprieve from being away from LA, because every once in a while, LA does start to kind of feel a little oppressive. So it's nice to be able to spend quality time with your family and stuff, and it's kind of like a father-son bonding experience, and I've never really gotten a chance to do that with my dad, where we just took a vacation, just us two. So that was really wonderful, but he also wants to do all the things, so we were packing it in every day, seeing different things. So I didn't get a chance to read as much as I would have liked to, but I did get a chance to start Steven Erikson's Memories of Ice. This is book 3 of Malazan Book of the Fallen. This is our official channel read-along. For those of you who are new to the channel, we're doing the 10 very big books by Steven Erikson, story by Steven Erikson and Ian Esselmont, which started actually as a Dungeons & Dragons campaign and morphed into a film script, and then eventually these 10 novels, and then a lot of offshoot series and things like that. So I have kind of mentioned ad nauseum on this channel pretty frequently how much I have enjoyed the first 2 books. So I was curious to see, what is the third book like? Well, in a week, with no time at all, I got about 25% of the way into it. I finished book 1. So this book is divided into 4 books, so basically 1/4 of it I finished. How does it compare to, let's say, Gardens of the Moon or Dead House Gates, those types of books? So I mentioned previously that I loved Gardens of the Moon. It was a good first book, but it was very disjointed. It was hard to understand what was going on sometimes. The characters were great, though, and I really missed them going into Dead House Gates. Now, the character work and the prose is so superior in Dead House Gates. Some of the most riveting and philosophical takes on PTSD, on the idea of warfare seen through a historian's perspective, through people in the army's perspective, and how those things start to coalesce when war actually happens and you're in the middle of the battlefield. So it was very dark, though. I was curious to see what Memories of Ice would feel like. And I feel like, at least at the outset, and maybe this will change because I feel like all these books have multiple stories going on within them, right? So I feel it is less dark for sure. There's a lot more lighter moments, which is kind of fun. Like I'm really enjoying the witty banter between the characters. I feel like it's moments of levity that are less few and far between compared to the first 2 books. It does feel more like you're reading kind of a historical perspective on this stuff. You're seeing stuff, hundreds of thousands of years in the past. You're seeing about the making of the Warrens. Warrens are kind of like the magic system in this. And kind of the backstory of some of the questions you might have had in Gardens of the Moon are answered. You're also seeing familiar faces like Ganos Paran, captain of the Bridge Burners, Whiskey Jack, everybody's favorite. And you're kind of starting to see these people evolve as characters, and as their storytelling, their story starts to propel forward. So most revelations I've seen out of the 3 books have been in this so far, and that's only 1/4 of the way through. So I am having a blast with this. This is the gift that keeps on giving, Malazan Book of the Fallen. So I'm very excited to continue on this train. Let me know in the comments if you are following along this read along. I think we have 56 people now on the Discord. On the FABLE app, and then we have a bunch of people on the Discord reading as well. And we have a bunch of Malazan veterans who are graciously donating their time hanging out in the chats and answering questions, and it's really a blast, you guys. So if you are behind, or if you're kind of feeling demotivated, like I will never be able to catch up, rest assured we're going to have a break month after this book. We're going to have 2 more books, then another break month, and then every other book after that is going to have break months in between. So plenty of time for everyone to catch up. Or if you're starting, your Malazan journey soon, you can catch up to us. There's plenty of time to get through those books. So, and luckily, the first 2 books are the shortest of them, which doesn't say much because they're over like 600 pages. But you get the idea, right? For Malazan standards, pretty short. So that is what I got a chance to read. I didn't get much further than that, but now I am back and I'm here to stay. I'm not going on any vacations. I'm not going to GDC. I'm not going anywhere. I am 100% here and 100% excited to have more stuff on the channel, and going forward, just participating more in the discussions and stuff. So thanks for bearing with my March, which was pretty kind of crazy, but I'm really looking forward to being able to talk to you all more regularly, because I've missed this and I missed you all. So let's talk a little bit about what I'm going to read. I'm going to continue on with Memories of Ice, of course, because I'm having so much fun doing it. I'm also going to be reading Of Darkness and Light now. This is book 2 of Ryan Cahill's The Bound and the Broken series. It's a dragon rider fantasy. If you've not read it, he's kind of become a self-published darling. He's sold hundreds of thousands of copies of his books, and for good reason. His prose is very accessible. His characters are familiar enough, but then they start going off in their own direction, so I've heard. I read the first book of Blood and Fire, and I felt like it was very familiar, not treading much more than familiar territory there, but I did feel that there was a comfort food aspect to that, and the way Ryan Cahill writes is very accessible. Prose may not be necessarily as highbrow or as dense as Wars of Light and Shadow by Jenny Wirtz or Malazan Book of the Fallen, so it is a nice juxtaposition to these other reads. So I'm very excited to dive into that. Let me know in the comments if you are reading along with us, because a lot of you wanted to read other read-alongs in addition to Malazan Book of the Fallen, I figured why not do 4 read-alongs on the channel instead of 1. So this is a soft read-along. Feel free to jump in and out at your leisure, but there are also break months, and each novel basically has a novella in between, and we're doing a month for a novella. So plenty of time to catch up as well. So very excited to see where the characters kind of continue from where they left off in the first entry of Blood and Fire. So let's talk about the second book the third book I want to read, which is James Michener's Alaska. So I kind of put this on the back burner, but I've been really enjoying it. It's historical fiction from the perspective of Alaska's formation, to the woolly mammoths, to the first humans crossing the Bering Strait, all the way through up to present-day Alaska. Or kind of the early 1950s, I think, is when James Michener wrote it. He's since passed on, but I am loving this book so far. I did not get very far. Obviously, I didn't read it this last week, but I'm looking forward to reading it more in earnest, because I think even though it's a chonker, it's a nice juxtaposition to all this fantasy that I've been reading. And if you have not read any James Michener, if this is telling, by the way, I've been collecting all his books since I started this book, and I'm only 200 pages in. So you get the idea on how much this author has kind of riveted me. But I think he has a unique way of not necessarily having exactly like fact for fact. It doesn't feel like you're reading a history textbook, and some of that stuff is embellished. Like, we don't know what a POV of a woolly mammoth was, right? Of course not. But I will say that it paints a picture. You feel like, what was it like to breathe that air? What was it like to cross the Bering Strait? What would the woolly mammoths have felt like? What would it have felt like to encounter humans for the first time? What would the humans have felt like as they're building the first like 2 to 4 person canoes called umiaks? What would it have felt like to have these colonizers come and just like pillage these little communities in the Aleutian Islands and stuff like that? So it really does paint the picture very well. Very harrowing stuff, but great read. I think the story of Alaska's people is as rugged as the terrain itself. So let's talk a little bit about the last book I want to read this week. So it's going to be a smorgasbord of a reading experience, but this one is called Mr. Slaughter. This is book 3 of Matthew Corbett's series. This is by Robert McCammon, one of my favorite authors, alongside Stephen King. They write very similarly. They're really good with coming of age. They're good with historical fiction. They're good with character studies. And this one is about Matthew Corbett, who basically works as a private investigator in now New York City. And this particular book takes place in 1704, so about 5 years after the events of the first book. And I'm very excited because the second book left off with a little bit of a cliffhanger, and I'm excited to see where those plot points move forward in this third book. I'm also reading it with a dear friend of the channel, a dear friend of mine, Cliff from Cliff's Dark Gems. I'm linking his channel below on the off chance you haven't seen him, because he is a wonderful channel, wonderful human being too. And I just love the way he passionately talks about what he loves and about his reading and his kindness. He's always been a very kind person on BookTube, so definitely check him out. But we're kind of reading it together. I think a few more people are joining on. I forget exactly who, so let me know in the comments if you are joining along with us. But we do have that soft read along. As I said, we have the FABLE app for chapter by chapter breakdown, and then we also have the discussions on our Discord channel, which is about, I want to say, like 70 people strong now or something like that. Or maybe it's like 60, something like I think it's 70 now. So it's nice to see a growing community of book addicts like myself there. So feel free to join us and feel free to lurk or participate at your choosing. So let's talk about this week on the channel. It was a lighter week. I apologize for that, you guys. We are 1082 subscribers now, so it is nice to see a few more friendly faces in the comment section and everything. And I released one video in addition to the reading roundup, and that was the monthly wrap-up video for March. So I talked about everything that happened in my music life, the reading life, kind of which book I loved the most out of the books that I read, and all sorts of things like that. I'm thinking of doing something maybe in, subsequent months. I actually saw it on Brian Lee Durfee channel, which is an amazing channel. I'm linking below as well. So if he doesn't mind, I would love to copy that format and also rank the books that I read in the month, as I go. So I think that could be kind of a fun thing to add to those monthly wrap-ups. But that is linked up here if you want to check it out. And it's kind of an expansion of the weekly reading roundup and kind of give you an idea of the month as a whole, and gives us a chance to have a dialogue as well in the comments, Discord, wherever, about what you read, anything that happened to you. And I also say that, like, we're all passionate readers, but we become friends through this community. And so, it's nice to be able to talk about and celebrate each other's wins, so feel free to share anything you want to share, and let's celebrate you as well. So let's talk about the channel schedule. This is going to be a packed week, you guys, because Reading Roundup is coming out on Monday. So as of this taping, I'm taping it on Sunday. You'll see it on Monday. But I'm also going to be doing a live stream, you guys, on the oldest Wheel of Time site, which is also a YouTube channel called Dragon Mount. I'm very excited to be there with Bill Bridges, author and world builder and game designer, as we talk a little bit about the Wheel of Time Season 3, Episode 6, for which I got to write a very special song. More on that later, but I'm very excited to talk with the crew there because they love Wheel of Time. And everybody who's in that community is so welcoming, so kind, and just so inclusive. Like, whether you're a first-time reader of the books, you've never read it, you're just getting into the show, or you're a veteran and you've read it 45 times or whatever, which I've met people who've read it like 50 times, the whole 15-book series. So I don't know how that's possible, but I really respect the hustle. So I'm very excited to talk with them. And I'm leaving the link down below for all these videos that are going to be coming out, because there's going to be quite a few this week. So that is going to be on Monday, in addition to this reading roundup, which you can check out below. That is going to be at, I believe, 6 p.m. PST and then 9 p.m. EST. Then the second thing I'm going to be doing is I want to do, probably on Wednesday, I'm going to try to do an adaptation news segment. So for those of you who are not familiar, I've done a few of these. And basically, I write a lot for adaptations, right? I write for film and TV, video games. I specialize in book adaptations. So I worked on The Wheel of Time, his Dark Materials. I've worked on now Philip Chase's Blessed Be the Eternal, his theme for his fantasy trilogy, the Edan trilogy. I wrote a theme for Lightbringer by Brent Weeks. So I love adaptations, and I'm always fascinated by the process, but I also pitch on them. So I figured it's kind of a nice way to be able to talk about these adaptations, see where are they in the process, but from someone who's experienced and knows where exactly in the pipeline things may be, finding articles that people may have not necessarily seen, things that are not under NDA but are not necessarily public. So I can speak to that from kind of somebody who works in that world. So I'm going to try to release that Wednesday. Also on Wednesday, you guys, it is with great honor and privilege that I will be a guest on the the Dusty Wheel of Time talk show. You guys, I first guested there in 2021 before I even started working on the show as an additional composer under Lorne Balfe and his team at 14th Street Music. So it is going to be a great catch up. I'm also going to be able to talk about the song I wrote for season 3, episode 6. More on that in the music segment, but I'm very excited. That is, I believe, going to be 5 p.m. PST. Don't quote me on that. I'm leaving the link below. And 8 p.m. EST. I'm leaving the link below so you can check that out as well. So make sure to follow along. I will be actively engaging in the chat there as well as in the Dragon Mount video. So looking forward to seeing some friendly faces there. Then Friday, I believe, is April 11th, if I remember correctly. So I want to do a 1 year on BookTube video because that is my 1 year anniversary. On April 11th, 2024, I first started my BookTube channel with no expectations or high hopes, except to find a community to talk about books with and hopefully share content from a unique perspective because I work in the business, right? And I love book adaptations. I work on book adaptations. So hopefully speaking about things from a slightly different perspective, and the amount of friends and people I've met, kind-hearted people who love the same kind of books I do is just far exceeded my expectations. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that as well as kind of goals for this year too. So that will be on Friday. And then also on Friday, so I'm like doing 2 videos, Monday, 2 Wednesday, 2 Friday. But on Friday, it is with great honor again that I get to talk on Jake's channel. Jake has a wonderful channel called Nerd Level Rising. I'm linking his wonderful channel down below. He's one of my favorite booktubers. I just love the way he talks about books. His and our tastes are very aligned. And of course, we're part of the long-haired crew, and I think the people with long hair should stick together, right? So, Jake, I'm very excited to talk with you, man, on Friday, and I really appreciate you graciously having me on your channel. And we're also figuring out having Jake on Shelf-Esteem on a Shelf Talkers episode later in April. So I'll keep you posted as soon as we have the date and everything locked down and I can share a thumbnail and all that. So very exciting times all around. That will be at 5 p.m. EST, 2 p.m. PST. So keep a lookout for the link down below. Now, let's talk about the music. So if you couldn't tell already, as I alluded to in that, kind of cold open there, I got a chance to write a song, an original song for The Wheel of Time, Season 3, Episode 6. Now, I wrote the music. Rami Park, the writer of the episode, wrote the lyrics. Kira Coveney, who plays Elaine Trakand in the show, she performed it alongside Tom Marilyn. Welcome back after a season hiatus, pretty much. So it was a homecoming of sorts whilst delving into new territory. The song is called The Hills of Tanchico. I'm so grateful to Lorne Balfe because he thankfully let me take lead on this thing, and he's like, go write it. And so I wrote a track, and I worked with production, and we recorded the actors in Prague, and the culmination of it got released on the soundtrack album through Sony Music, Milan Records, a couple weeks ago, and it did moderately well, and people seemed to really like the song. Then it debuted this week on the show as a musical number, both during the show and when it first debuted. Then it has like a little reprise later on, and then it is the song that was used in the end credits. So it's very heavily part of the pantheon of that episode. And seeing Elaine's character come into her own, the funny body subject matter of the double entendre of what the Hills of Tanchico really mean, and hopefully the song's melody and everything seem to capture people's heart, because this thing, you guys, blew up over the last 48 hours. Like, I've seen covers, video tutorials of how to play the guitar of the song, like people are posting now. Twitter's been blowing up with it. I think on Instagram, the Wheel of Time official Instagram page tagged me and Kira in a post, like a collab post, and that has like almost 200,000 views. It has like 65,000 streams on Spotify, like 45,000 on YouTube. It is just gangbusters. Like, I can't believe it. And just seeing some of the favorite articles, or favorite publications like Winter's Coming and, Collider and Nerdist, and commenting about it. I mean, it means the world to me. When I started working on Lauren's team, I was just grateful to be a part of it. Like, I just wanted to be close to the Wheel of Time in any way possible, because that started my love of fantasy and kind of wanting to shoot for the stars composing wise. So it means a lot to me. and Lauren graciously gave me the opportunity of a lifetime. So Lauren, on the off chance you'd ever watch this, I thank you for making a dream come true. None of this could have been without you, you know? And I'm just so grateful the fans are liking it and that they're humming it and they're making covers of it, you know? It's like, it's every composer or songwriter's dream, you know? So it has been a crazy week, you guys. I just don't even know how to make heads or tails of it. Like, I'm really grateful. I'm leaving the song link below. And I hope you get a chance to check it out and let me know what you think in the comments if you haven't yet. But it is the greatest honor of my life, you know. I mean, my musical career. It just blows my mind, really does. So I'm grateful to you all for kind of supporting it and listening, and yeah, to everyone who made it happen, to Lauren, the production, and yeah, I hope you get a chance to listen. And that's really the music updates. But I wanted to ask you the question, as I always like to do, because for me, the dialogue, the community, and having great conversations about the books we love and the books we think other people should read is always my favorite part of this channel and the discussions we have. So let me know in the comments how your week went. Did you read anything cool? Leave it in the Discord, in the comments, and I answer every comment as quickly as possible. I make it a point to do that because for me, I don't always just want to say like, hey, thanks for watching. You know, it's not a canned response. I really want to know from you. I'll ask you questions too. And if you feel like having a dialogue, we can have a dialogue. So please feel free to comment as much or as little as you'd like, up to you, but that's there. I'm Nikhil with Shelf-Esteem. Be good to yourselves, you guys. Be good to each other because life is too short and we should make good memories with the people that make it all worthwhile, read some fantastic books, and have a good community together. So if you like this kind of video, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it if you don't have time to watch it, even just put it on in the background and watch the video all the way through, because it does really help the algorithm. It does, kind of tabulate all that stuff and make the decision whether to push the video out to other people. And all I really want to do is, if there are other people who would want to join this bandwagon of reading addicts and like these kinds of books, that more people should see the video, you know, the people who are interested in it, no more, no less. So if you like this video, please help support the channel, and I'm leaving all the links below, and I will see you next week, and I'll see you in the next video as I always do. Love you all, and take care.